Hi, John and Mike from brew-juice.com. Tonight we're doing a little tasting video of American Cream Ale. So this beer is one of the beers I brew probably a couple times a year. It's something I make sure I brew at least once a year. I love brewing this beer. It's good for, it's a clean, easy drinking beer. It's good for hot weather. It's good for like all the in-laws and all the non-craft beer drinkers out there who don't want to drink a Belgian Pale or a Saison or something weird like that. It's the closest thing you can get in homebrew. It's one of the easier things you can do in homebrewing to get that pale yellow beer.
Yep.
So,
and no vanilla in it. Don't make
vanilla.
Don't make a cream soda beer.
No.
That's silly.
No.
This is tremendous, actually. I was gonna say that
this is my first tasting of this.
Really? Okay. Well, there you go. First for everything. Right on, live on video. Yeah, I think I always harken back to the first cream ale that I brewed that was very corny, and I don't mean that in a jokey way. It just had a very cooked corn type taste, and probably was DMS. I didn't even know what that was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I also used flaked corn, and I think I partial mashed that with you, and I probably didn't do that right. But I mean, this doesn't. It's fairly dry in the finish. It's got a nice subtle hop taste. So what variety of hops did you use?
So, I've brewed this several times, a couple different ways, but my favorite hop for this is Liberty.
Yeah,
Love Liberty, and I do Liberty throughout. So I have like a 60-minute and a 20-minute and like a flame out edition of Liberty.
Yeah, because I'm going to say that it has a very German, floral, noble-y taste to it. But
yeah,
yeah.
But it's just a little bit different. I think that Liberty hops kind of takes you a little bit away
from
that,
more bitterness
but it's
to it.
still
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's nice. I like it.
Yeah. So that's great, and it dries out. So I know that since I said in my cream ale I used flaked corn, what kind of adjuncts do you use in this?
So there's two really things I do, if you want to call it adjuncts, is that I use flaked corn.
Yep.
And I think there's a really subtle flaked corn character in here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not strong, but it's more like a cornflake type thing. It's not really sulfury. It's just it's very subtle. My first sniff of it is I got that corn, which is good for the style. I think it's supposed to be there. But if you didn't know there was supposed to be corn in there, you probably wouldn't pick it up.
No.
So I use a little flaked corn, and then the other adjunct I do is, in order to get to my final gravity, I use table sugar. So
okay.
I mean, if you want to talk about sugars being an adjunct, but
how much sugar did you use?
So I do a full pound of table sugar.
Okay, that's good, and then that raises the gravity up probably a few points, and then
my total starting gravity, sugar and all the malt combined, is 1055.
That's great. Yeah, and I like it. I mean, it's fairly clear. I mean, certainly that yellow, perception is, especially visual perception with beers, and with people who aren't beer connoisseurs. If they see this and they say, "Oh, well, it's yellow. It's what I'm used to. This is probably tasty." And then
it's a great gateway beer for homebrewers too, to get people interested in homebrew.
Yeah.
If you can brew one of these clean, and in order to brew it clean, you want a big healthy pitch. I use California ale yeast, big healthy pitch, a good amount of aeration or O2.
Yep.
Drive that fermentation. This finished at like 1009, so it means super dry, super clear, super clean rather.
Yeah.
If you give it enough time, cold conditioning, it'll clear up quite a bit too. This isn't as clear as it could be, but it's pretty damn clear.
I think so. Yeah.
Make people happy. But from here, you could then introduce people to a pale ale that's not too hoppy.
Yeah.
It's got a little orange color.
I was going to say, like, either cream ale or blonde ale is a good place to start.
Absolutely. These are great gateway beers. Once you master your craft, but you want to start having people enjoy your beer, blonde ale, cream ale, those are the places to go.
Agreed. Okay. Cream ale, and some of the tips that Mike takes under consideration when he brews it. I think that it makes sense to, would you say that even if you didn't use flake corn, would just using table sugar be okay?
Absolutely, because you know what, you're going to still get a little bit of that corny DMS from the Pilsner malt. I basically do 50-50 two-row and Pilsner malt.
Yep.
And I think that's a great combination. The two-row kind of gives you a little bit of that residual body that you want to have, while the Pilsner malt, we were talking earlier to ourselves about, Pilsner malt just really dries that beer flavor. It just makes it taste like beer, and that's what people want.
That's right. So some kind of adjunct to dry it out, simple sugars are good, and then the hops not too I don't know, over the top. I mean, you're probably only using what, maybe a few ounces?
I'm doing 1 ounce to bitter, 1 ounce at 20 minutes, and then a half an ounce at flame out.
But the alpha acids aren't that high, so it's
no,
not that.
Liberty's
really
only like 4.5%.
grapefruit taste or anything like that. So.
Yeah, right. Something we adjunct wise in this beer too. Something I haven't tried yet. I want to experiment with is I do want to try brewing this with flaked rice.
Yeah.
Which would be a very neutral flavor, and just see. But then again, like you said, maybe just go 50-50 the two malts and table sugar. Probably taste the same if it had rice in it or not.
Probably. So okay, well that's our thoughts on cream ale. Hope you enjoyed this tasting video. Sorry you can't taste along with us, but it's all about brewing cream ale and some of the things to keep in mind when you do it. So brew on.
Brew on.